Yo, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. I am Army Piper. This is the Piper Academy Network, and we're giving you guys the macro breakdown, guys. Getting Bitcoin, little bounce there on that golden pocket again, on that dynamic reactor, double bottom, moving up to the upside, but getting a little bit of rejection on that white arrow. That is your 50-day simple moving average. We're going to talk about that today. Also, we got some great headlines that you guys need to know about. First of all, guys, we've got some crypto bubbles all over the place here, right? A lot of mixed markets this morning. Did get a little pump. Now we're getting a pullback on the hourly, where we got a pullback on the open. Now we're getting another little rally. So we're going to talk about OM. Big burn coming on OM from the CEO, quote unquote. Also got institutional wells selling off Ethereum in the billions, guys. And then top it all off, did Coinbase Institutional just tell us we're heading into crypto winter? All this and a whole lot more today on the Piper Academy Network, the Morning Market Report. You guys know what time it is. Let's get it. Class is in session. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. Got my OG t-shirt on today, my Alex O Crypto t-shirt. Got the Otter Gang on the back. I'll show it to you later. But yeah. What is going on, everybody? Username, last tip ever, bud. Exactly, Eric Wallen. We got Eric Wallen in the house. Ballin Wallen. Alexandra. She changed her name. Guys, it's Alexandra B, as in the bear. She's in the house with us. I love you, lady. Harp is in here with us. Harp, I hope that we're getting everything fixed over there on the Discord for you, man. Welcome to the upperclassmen, the alumni in the house. Who else we got? We got Mike Play in here with us. Donato Cabrera, Crypto Coin Mindset. What's up, Keith? How you doing today, bro? Kyle Fields is in here. We got Ninja Glock. OC guy, going to be seeing him in just a second. We got Robert Mulligan in the house. What's up, bro? How you doing, man? Good to see you. And then, did I miss anybody up here? CJ Taylor, my brother, and Baba Yaz, my fellow vet. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Morning Market Report. Let's go ahead. Let's get this drop down screen here, because we got to have all the tech going. And then lastly, let's go get in here with our co-host, the OC guy. OC, how's that coffee? How's that coffee, bro?
Fantastic. Just like you like it. We know orange juice on it.
Exactly. Makes me happy. Makes me happy. So we have, we're going to be doing a shorter morning show for you guys, because we're going to try to catch the end of Randy Hipper's show and try to get some of that into for your guys' morning. But also, we're trying to keep this truncated to where, because we see that you guys are here for the macro news. You want to know the headlines. You want to know the so what. But then we start to fade off. So we're going to just keep it action-packed all the way up there to the stuff that you guys want. And the rest of it, guys, we got all kinds of other trading shows. Markets After Dark's crushing it. OC's crushing it. You get all your macro in the morning, all your trading in the evening, and it should be a nice rounded out thing. Next week, OC will be taking over for a couple of days. I may not be available because I've got to go to Dallas. It looks like I'm buying a house. So dollar cost average into Bitcoin and buy some real estate. That's the goal here. So get the hell out of El Paso, Texas. That's what I'm planning to do. OC, you're going to be holding it down for him though. How are you doing, man? How's everything looking on the market side for you? I want to hand it over to you to go ahead and do a quick dive into Bitcoin, and then we'll do the news. How's that sound?
Sounds fantastic.
All right, let's go.
Absolutely. So somebody says, I don't remember if he was in here in the chat, that it's going to be making some merch that says OC guy. What was it? Fantastic or absolutely. I don't remember. I was all for that one. So let's take a look at Bitcoin here.
Hold on, bro. I just had a vision. You need a t-shirt on with just a bleeding chart, right? Just red candle, and it says Yo soy fantastico, and it says OC guy on the front. The front says OC guy. The back has the just crashing candle and says Yo soy fantastico. I love it. That's what we should do. All right, what do you got on the chart, bro?
Oh man, I love that. Absolutely. Let's go for that. So we were talking about a very important trend line, right? Yesterday we were talking about this trend line in here, and also we were talking about previous highs. So remember, so for us to be bullish, we need to put down a higher low, right? And then a higher high and a higher low, right? Whatever happens the first. first, we were also talking about this W pattern right down here. Remember, let me just give you guys a little bit of a refreshment here, and we were expecting to see, come on, this is just so annoying that it just turns white on me. Perfect. So this is the Wyckoff accumulation scheme, and we're talking about a possible spring happening here, right? Our first entry right here with our half of a position, taking our profits in here, and then took entering back with full position. That's exactly what we did. So our first position in here, there we go, and then I just almost took everything out of that position. Basically, I'm still within 1/4 still, and then added a secondary position in here. We're back our entry, and remember that I was telling you guys, hey, when we are looking for a breakout, all right, let's take a look at different breakouts. Look at this breakout, big body candle, right? Look at even this fake out, big body candle, right? So if we go through history, you will see that we have big body candles at the breakout, right, or the high volume, or any trend lines, like for example in here, in here, in here, in here, right? So, and in this case, we just range our way out. So I mean, that is just pathetic, all right? I mean, it's not something that we want to see. I mean, I could absolutely just turn around, right, and say, hey, pathetic, you're a, right, you're a whatever. But the point is that because it was like a pathetic breakout in here, we were expecting another bounce. Where? To the high volume area. And actually, I draw, and let me see if I have it. No, not really. But I drew a little triangle in here and tell you this is going to be my next entry point. Remember, I did that exactly. So, guys, we went back inside the range, inside below the trend line, inside the range. This is not good. We're having something like an M pattern at this point, and this trend line again is going to be defining it all. Something important, and don't get me wrong, I know I mentioned pathetic in here more than once, but don't get me wrong, I'm long at this point, all right? And that is because look at our oscillator in here, our RSI prime, all right? It is starting to turn green in here. I actually longed it before it turned green because it was on my entry area. And what else? Well, it seems like we could be having a little bit of a flip of the ribbon, all right? So I'm going to be very, very careful on this one. And what I want to see, it's at the very least, be taking this high, all right, to put in at least another localized higher high, and then take out 50% of that movement of that of my position, move my stop entry, and then see if I can take on this next high. But so far, this is not looking good. Yes, we're more bullish, but our volatility is very low. Nothing that will be indicate that we could start breaking resistances at the top, and only maybe holding some supports. So that's what I see on Bitcoin at this point. Just before I pass it over to you, Piper. Oh, sorry about that. There we are. Just before I pass it over to you, I just want you guys to remind you that despite everything else, this is what I am expecting. All right, this is a little bit of hopium because everything is pointing at the bearish scenario. The bullish candle, the blue candles are from the 2021 cycle, and as you can see, we multiple times hit that bottom. All right, so now I'm over with Bitcoin. Passing it over to you, my friend.
Awesome. Yeah. And I actually have a little something. We have an article today. It's the one actually talking about the crypto winter. Talks about that scenario right there for quarter 3. So Alex O and the Otter Gang joining us. OGs. Got my t-shirt on today. Polo yesterday, t-shirt today, sun rocking the hoodie, and my OG coffee mug. I'm not drinking out of it today. But shout out to the Otter Gang. We appreciate y'all being here. Drop those otters in the chat, y'all. Let's go and jump into the news, guys. That is not the news. This is the news. Let's go jump into the news and talk about what we're seeing over there. You guys thought, oh, wow, it's a really short show. Bitcoin update, and we're out of here. No, here we go, guys. Looking at the crypto market cap right now, $2.635 trillion right now is the crypto market cap. Trend line on that is at $3.714 trillion. We are currently 29% undervalued in crypto. So current risk band sitting at about 49% for the upperclassmen. You guys know what that means. Right now, looking at the Bitcoin dominance. With stables, we're at 62.99%. Without stables, we're at 68.92%. So a lot of money still sitting in the stable coins. Matter of fact, I got a post on X that we're going to be going through here in a little bit. X marks the spot, talking about stable coins may see a 4 to 10x this cycle. So holy cannoli, man, that dominance would be rocking. So do you think OC guy is related to AOC? No, he's not. Let's go talk about the fear and greed index here real fast, and then we'll get over into those crypto bubbles, talk about the current market prices. Looks like right now we are sitting at 29, still in fear on the fear and greed index. All right, Bitcoin, let's go, Bitty boy. Currently, sitting at $84,128, down about 2% on the daily. We are seeing a little tiny pump on the hourly here, making up some gains again, up 0.4%. Ethereum is flat and down 3.5% on the daily, sitting at $1,577. Any other big movers? XRP took a pretty decent hit, 3.9%, nothing major. Solana down 5.2%. Tron is up across the board and looking pretty decent. Moved up one more spot to number 8 at over 25 cents. It's up 2.4% on the daily. Cardano's down 4.9%, trying to make it back up here, sitting at around 60 cents. I know a lot of people out there are calling for 70-cent Cardano. They would love to see that as of right now. Not getting there at the 4.9% down on the daily. Avalanche down 5.3%. That is a pretty decent little move to the downside. Anything else here that is Sui's down 5.6%, and Pi Network down 7.4%, rounding out that top 25 there. Top 20 Litecoin is your number 20 spot. So let's talk about the stock market right now. Looking at the Dow Jones, the TradFi side, S&P, NASDAQ, Russell 2K, all that good stuff, all down in the red right now. Dow Jones down about 0.65. S&P is down 1.33%, and the NASDAQ down 2%. Russell 2K struggling to hold above that threshold of 0.5% there. It's down 0.63, and the VIX is in the green today, indicating volatility in the markets. You can see that Europe last night closed in the red on everything. Asia, mostly in the red. Nifty 50 in Shanghai did have some greens, but the ASX, the Nikkei, and the HSI all closing to the downside. Bond markets, 10-year yield on its way back up, pushing those mortgage rates sky high, guys. We're over 7% now on mortgage rates, according to the economic report. So 10-year yield at 4.33%. Stay away from 5. That's the goal there. Looking at oil right now, $62.42 per barrel. We are seeing a little bit of move to the upside above that $60 threshold. That is when most oil companies start losing profitability. Gold is broken. $3,333.10, guys. I called when we broke 2K. I said, guys, it's very, or no, I said when we broke 3K, I said it's very likely we're going to hit 5K. And yeah, it's continuing on the way up there. Just moved up another $1. Look at that. So let's go check out the economic calendar. Here's that 30-year fixed mortgage rate. It's at 6.81 according to Kabisi letter. 7.5 is the national average right now. Retail sales, I got a breakdown on this. Retail sales came in this morning at 6:30 a.m. my time, 8:30 a.m. on the East Coast. Actual was at 1.4%, was expected to be 1.3 to 1.1, came in a little bit better than what they were expecting. However, pause for that. Let's go talk about this. Retail sales, they did say, could give a distorted consumer view on CNBC Pro. I went in and said, ChatGPT, let's break these numbers down and let's go for it. Top gainers. Here's a breakdown of the retail sales category from March 2025. Motor vehicles and parts, 5.3% of all the sales came from that plus 5.3% there of motor vehicles. Why? Because everyone's trying to get their parts and everything before tariffs take effect. Building materials, again, more tariff effect, right? Up 3.3%. Sporting goods, hobbies, books, music, 2.4%. Food and services and drink places were up 1.8. Electronics and appliances, about 0.8. And you guys can see the rest of the list there. The decliners, gasoline stations, and furniture stores. Key metrics for GDP, core retail sales, excluding autos, food services, building materials, and gas was only up 0.4%. And you can see that right here. That is the control group month over month. This was at 1.3, was expected to be 0.6 to 0.3, came in at 0.4. That is a decline in retail sales if you take away all of those factors like automobiles and tariffs, right? So this morning when this data come out, I was watching XAU Crypto Live. He said, Piper, what does this mean? I said, well, firstly, just looking at the numbers before I dig in, it means not likely to cut interest rates anytime soon with the Fed rates, I should say. And it means that higher for longer, tighter for longer. So that is what we're seeing there. And this number was not as good as what it looked like because, as CNBC said, could have a distorted view. And that's exactly what we saw on that. Let's go over here and talk about what is on the X marks the spot today because there's a lot of good stuff over here. First of all, you guys should know about this. Mantra, you guys know I'm in a spot long on this. Just bought it. That's, no leverage or anything like that. Just did a nice chunk of it. Why? Because it had fallen like 90%. And it did a nice 200% rally, fell back down to the 50-cent range. That is where I bought in. Mantra's a 90% price drop, a $5.5 billion loss, and now 300 million OM tokens are going to be burned by the CEO. What's really going on with Mantra besides its price? What's really going down besides its price? Mantra CEO John Mullen plans to burn all of his team's 300 million OM tokens worth $236 million with OM at 78 cents apiece to restore community trust. The 300 million OM tokens represent about 16.88% of the total supply and were initially locked with scheduled release between April 27th and October 2029. They're going to burn these. They're going to get rid of them, which means they're trying to stabilize the price. Just wanted you guys to know about that. Some stuff going on over there on X. Breaking. China says it's aware that certain goods are facing a 245% U.S. tariff, and they will ignore the numbers game. China repeats it will fight until the end in the tariff war. Guys, Monday in our Discord, we talked with with our members, all of our members that are over there. They get 1 hour session with us every Monday that we sit down and we talk about key things they need to know. And the one that we talked about this week was that we are at war with China. That's without firing a single bullet. We are literally at war with China right now on a tariff and trade and economic front. So it is very bullish for OM, in my opinion. Catalyst plays. You are correct. That's why I wanted to bring that up. But yeah, so now 245% tariff on imports to the U.S., up from 145 as retaliatory actions here. Gold soars about $3,300 an ounce as stock market futures accelerate declines. We talked about that, showed you that already. China's local government, guys, sells 15,000 Bitcoin worth $1.25 billion via offshore private entities. They are trying to stabilize their economy. Shout out to my niece, Rayanne Shipley. Hi, love. How you doing today? So, guys, China, everyone's talked about, well, maybe they'll go with Bitcoin. They're actually trying to stabilize their economy in the yuan by selling this $1.25 billion worth of Bitcoin out there. So, Bitcoin hyper, I had to save this. Buying the breakout feels smart until the price pulls back and you realize you were exit liquidity. Guys, be aware of those lower highs and lower lows. Shout out to F Plus Financial Failures in the house. Good to see you here, bro. Gold hat. Oh, this is a great point. So OC, we talk about all the time that, Bitcoin being a peer-to-peer currency, so on and so forth. And people go, no one's going to use, I've even said it, no one's going to use Bitcoin as a currency in the U.S. when they have to pay capital gains tax to buy something, right? They're already paying tax. Your thoughts on that? Like, would you spend Bitcoin to buy something, or is it more gold, or is it a currency for you? What's your thoughts?
All right, we're jumping into dangerous territory because I have, right? Just so you know, if you guys recall Salinas Pliego, that's one of the richest men in Mexico. He owns a company called Electra, just like the movie Electra. And they actually kind of started selling stuff. Like, for example, they went on sale with their Nintendo Switch and all technology for Bitcoin. That was the last bear cycle. So bearish Bitcoin, he was also holding on to it, right? So the point is, all right, does your government know that you have it? Did your KYC? How do you earn it, right? So can you spend it? Do you need to pay capital gains in that? All right, talking just in the legal space, right? No, let's not go into the shady thing. So I would not be spending Bitcoin if I need to pay capital tax on it, right? I'd rather just to see the value of it and then cash out and convert it to something else that is basically cash, and then spend that cash, right? Unless there is special treatment to it. That being said, cutting on taxes, all right? So I don't know what the main point is. Maybe if you can give me a hint so I can better have a better opinion.
Well, you pretty much nailed it. You're not trying, but you hear all the time people need to adopt it to right so that it can be as a peer to peer, right? Check this one out. Shout out to Gia S, by the way, in the chat. I see you there, lady. How you doing? How you been? It's good to see you. Gold has a $21 trillion market cap with zero merchant adoption. You cannot go anywhere and spend gold. It's just not going to happen unless it's like a jewelry store and they're going to take it as part of payment for working on gold jewelry, right? So why do people think Bitcoin can only have value if it's used for coffee payments? It's a great question, man. I just wanted to bring that up. So yeah, you pretty much you hit the nail on the head, right? It doesn't need to be used to buy things in order to have a value. So what did Retro Mike Tech say? Oh, Retro Mike Tech. Mine Bitcoin equals non-KYC Bitcoin. What they don't know, they can't tax. Okay, no, that's a great comment. I love that one. This was put out by Digital Asset News yesterday, guys. It doesn't matter how many they make. Only a few will get liquidity. Which one is the question? And this is talking about altcoin season. Lewis Raskin talked about this on the show with Crypto Princess, and he said he doesn't think that we are going to see any more alt seasons like we've seen in the past. Why? Because how many there were back in the day. There were like 1,700 cryptos and 22,000 cryptos. Now there's like 2.4 million or something like that. Alt season 2021, pitcher of water, 3 cups to fill. Yep, they're all going to get it. Alt season 2025, guys, the likelihood of hitting an alt season where everything rises with the tide is just not feasible when you have this small of a liquidity, just this low amount of liquidity to go into everything, right? There's only so much that people can buy, and they got to have money to do that. So I just wanted to share that one. That was a good one. Yeah, here's Michael Burry. 30-year mortgage rates just hit 7.5%, highest since January. Buying or refinancing a home just got even harder. Standard Charter analysts believe overall stablecoin supply could increase by nearly 10x over the next 4 years, driven by potential U.S. stablecoin legislation. This is a big reason why I'm very bullish on Circle launching their IPO to go public. I think that Circle is going to be a big player in that U.S. regulation. And when they go public, it got delayed, just so you guys are tracking if anybody's been watching for that and wanting information. It did get delayed. It was supposed to go on live in April. Now it looks like it's been delayed to further out in the year, but I am watching that closely. And when it launches, I definitely will be looking to buy some IPO after 48 hours after. Never buy the IPO launch. It will hurt you. Ask Coinbase. So yeah, I'm looking to buy that, but I do think that, looking at 10x in the stablecoin market over the next 4 years is pretty insane. Hong Kong suspended all postal services for all goods being sent to the U.S. That happened effectively last night for today. And then I think that's it. Yeah, that is all I got there on X marks the spot today, guys. Looking at the liquidity heat map, we are pulling down, looking at a big liquidity pull starting at about 82,950 all the way down to about $80,000 on the Bitcoin chart. And let's jump over. OC did a little breakdown. I just want to show you guys what's going on here with it. We had this 50-day simple moving average that we were fighting with at the beginning of the show. It looks like we are now coming back above that after getting a nice bounce on that dynamic reactor on the oscillator, on the market dynamics here from Chart Prime. So Oracle from Chart Prime. That's the word I was looking for. I'm trying to get everything turned on here. We do have money flow coming up on the 4-hour right now, and the ribbon is pushing to the upside. We could get a little upside movement. What is that looking like there on that heat map for upside? That would be coming in at a level about 86,500. There's not really much above here, though. That would be quite the push to hit that liquidity. I do think it's more likely that we pull down today into that low $80,000 range. Wallets. Let's go talk about Coinbase here for a second. bring OC up here with me. What's up, OC? Coinbase Institutional warns of converging signs that suggest crypto winter is coming. Let's go talk about this, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about gold, OC, because crypto winter may be coming for there, but it looks like it's summer for gold on the market. So the start of a new crypto winter may be underway, according to Coinbase Institutional, with the total crypto market cap, excluding Bitcoin, back at 2022 levels. VC funding is also down significantly, and most assets are lingering below their 200-day moving averages. However, crypto prices may find a floor in mid to late Q2, setting up a better Q3, head of research David Duong said. And if we come over here and we look at this chart here, this is one of the things that I've talked about a couple of times, that we could see this play out like this, where we have the top breaks. Nope, that is not it. Where we have the market bottoms. No. Is it fib cycles? It's not. It is fib cycles. There we go. So let's go turn this on. I want to bring in my market tops here. This is where we had our double rejection. Typically do reject around there. This would be something that I would be watching for, and that would be for us to pull down into like $66,000 range, return back up to the golden pocket later on in late Q3, early Q4. So that is exactly what OC was talking about, with that repeating pattern of 2021 dropped onto there. Why do I think that $63,000 range is going to be critical for this? Because when we look at the chart here, that is where we have the big, that is that fixed range volume profile that I've been watching. Let me pull it up on here. Is this the chart? That is not the chart. It's on here. This is the chart. This is the way. This long range and fixed range, long or short range volume profiles here, guys. If we go down and we take a look at these and what they throw onto the chart, it gives us a pocket down here at about $63,000 that I'm watching for closely. It's between $63,000 and $67,000. And so if we come down to that level, there's that value area low, and then that's about 65,000. And then if we come over and look on the long-term fixed range volume profile, we have a pretty decent one over there too. That is coming in. If you pull it from the bottom, it comes in right about that $63,000 range. So you got a point of control over there. You got a nice value area low, and then that pocket there about $63,000 would be a key area. But right now, gold top performer around the OC. What are you seeing on the gold side? Let's jump over and see what you got on that chart, and then we'll come back and talk about Ethereum, because I got an article for that. So.
Absolutely. So let's get started where we left out, right? Remember that we have two charts of gold. We're talking about possible reentries. The next areas of reentries, or the previous areas of reentry, was where liquidity was waiting here. That doesn't mean that the liquidity is going to go and sweep it. That is the usual way, right? So when we have that triangle liquidity with that volumetric movement or that parabolic movement, well, we usually look for the center of it to come back down, grab that liquidity, and then push back upwards, right? This was not the case, which is fine. Nonetheless, we did created this triangle. Remember that literally, and this is what I mentioned last class, literally the gold on these triangles, it's in the lines. Why? Because you have breakouts, right? So you can either trade the inside for the bounces, all right, or the breakouts or breakout retest. At this point, we are just basically have broken. If this is anything that we could be expecting, the measured target, right? Not the target that it is absolutely going to be hitting, but the measured target, it is at 3,480. I don't think that we're going to be hitting it like we hit it in here. I think there's going to be maybe a smaller run or with something in between. And why is that? Because if I start turning on my indicators, first of all, we're in premium zones of gold, right? And this is going to be truth until we come back and grab some liquidity at the equilibrium. We're not there yet. Another important thing, oh, come on, let me move it. The volume that we're having, it is enough volume to maybe implement a little bit of a range. Look at the volume that we had in here, right? So in what we did, a little bit of that range, right? Look at the volume that we have in here, and when we did, a little bit of a range. So we're increasing on that volume allocation, and we're not pumping up with candle by candle like we did with, and let me just get this out of the way, like we did in this candle, in this candle, in this candle. So basically, what I'm telling you at this point, it is that we're having some volatility, or we're stuttering right there, right? So volatility within the area, right? So look at those indecision candles, and let me bring up chunky candles in here in the show. Come on over, brother. And then let's take it. Let's see it, right? So we see that we're not pumping like we did in here, right? So we could be forming another hiccup or another pause or another something in there. That could transform into our opportunity to jump back in. We need to be careful when doing so, right? Especially when we are at the top of our oscillator, right? So that's what I got on Bitcoin. And predicted fringes are just look at that, very toppy. Other than that, turning it back to you, Piper.
Awesome. Let's talk about this article here on real fast on Ethereum, then we'll pull that up. That's a good little azimuth there on what we're seeing with altcoins, guys. Ethereum whales sell $1.8 billion in ETH as price fails recovery. Ethereum's price stagnated around $1,700, prompting whales to sell 1.19 million Ethereum, worth over $1.8 billion in the past 72 hours, guys. Let's check a look at that Ethereum chart, and then we'll come back and talk about FE.
Oh man, FETH, hashtag FETH, please, in the comments. Ethereum just doesn't freaking stop, man, honoring its F on the ETH. All right, so if you don't know, F, it goes for fidelity. So something important in here, it is that we were looking at previous highs. This was a flat top triangle, and we were expecting to break to the upside. Usually flat top triangles tend to break to the upside, right? I also mentioned this could, if we are very specifics, right? This could actually be forming not a flat top, but slightly tilted, right? Slightly tilted triangle. So it makes it a wedge. And that wedge breaks to the downside. But whatever. The point is that we are not here to be that picky. We're just here to do analysis, right? So what we wanted to, it is a breakout, retest, and off we go in here. After this breakout retest, my next entry right there would have been for 1 quarter. At this point, we are falling out of the trend line, guys. We have learned this in the classes of late classes, guys. What does that mean that we're breaking a trend line, right? And also, it's not about the breakout. It's about your retest, and off we go. We still need to see what's going to happen there, but I think that is the case. We already have a possible reversal right there. We have a flip of the ribbon. Let me move this out of the way. Perfect. To the other side. And then what does that mean? It means like we are creating a goose head, right? This goose head is not cool because usually this indicates a little retracement for a further movement to the upside. So a little retracement like this, further move to the upside, and then a final big retracement. So be careful. Maybe this could be our area of entry. How can we tell? How can we tell? I'm just looking at where liquidity is at, and look at that. Nailed it with those support and resistances. Shout out to Chart Prime. Look at that also with a high order blocking here. Guys, I know sometimes when Piper and I do TA and we already are seeing stuff and we tell you and turn on Chart Prime and it's already there, it is because we already have been doing this for so long, right? It's just like a video game. And this analogy is straight from Piper, and I loved it, right? That's why I'm repeating it. So this is a video game. The more you play, the more you understand it, and the more you get good at it, right? And there's going to be a point where, hey, I know because of the music change, because of the subtle change, right? I know an enemy is coming. So that's how you start having that sense, right? In the charts before you actually see it with your own eyes or with the indicators. But other than that, turning it back to you, Piper.
Yeah, we had a question about what is crypto winter. So, where it said crypto winter question mark. I'm guessing Stroman wants to know what that is. So, several converging signals may be pointing to the start of a new crypto winter, according to Coinbase Institutional, amid extreme negative sentiment following Trump's recent tariff turmoil and the potential. So, if you don't know what a crypto winter is, it is where, typically we say crypto winter refers to an extended period of depressed cryptocurrency prices and reduced market activity, similar to a bear market market in traditional finance. So when they say, hey, we broke 20%, that is their bear market category for Wall Street, right? And so 20% there, that defines a bull or bear market in equities, right? In crypto, we see that all the time. Like 20% pullback doesn't necessarily define a bear market for us. We refer to that as the crypto winter. So a 20% move is often used to define that bull and bear market for equities, but it doesn't always reflect a true shift in crypto. Something Duong suggests can lead to complacency, and I'm seeing complacency all over the markets right now, by the way. Crypto also trades 24/7, making it a proxy for global risk sentiment while traditional markets are closed. So instead of the rule of thumb measures, the risk-adjusted performance using standard deviations, a Z-score, and the 200-day moving averages provides a better look for what is a bear market in crypto. And therefore, like we saw back in November 2021 through November 2022, that was a very sharp decline. So where 20% pullback on stock markets, on S&P, so on and so forth, says this is a bear market. We don't really have that. That's just a Tuesday in crypto. So looking at what is a crypto winter, that would be where we see Bitcoin do a 70% plus fall and altcoins get absolutely wrecked at 90 to 99% on some projects, which is why FD White always talks about the 90-90 roll on alts, where it will drop 90%. You go, oh man, this is cheap. It's on sale, and they buy it all in at that 90% fall, and then it falls to 99%, and they now went 90% of their entire investment is gone. Because if you have a 9% move on top of a 90% move, that is a 90% move from where you bought in at, and you now are sitting with 10% of what you had before you purchased. So that is a crypto winter, and they are talking about it coming, but they do think that we could see a Q3 rally, which again looks a lot like what we saw back in 2021. OC, I think that about wraps it up, man. What do you got for the people? Any last minute things you want to drop on them for some alpha here, or we can talk about what they get if they hit that like button.
Absolutely. Let's see what they get when they hit that like button.
Well, tell them.
Perfect. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining today. I was just waiting for it to go. Thank you so much for joining today. As always, greatly appreciate you guys are here. It always makes me so happy. And remember that oh my God, what's happening with my brain? Remember that Piper Academy is the only show that gives you power-ups when you click that like button. So go ahead and smash it. Smash it with hardness right there. And maybe we can see your dirty clothes becoming magically turning not dirty, clean, and appearing on your drawers. Just don't tell your wife or your husband.
I love it. All right, guys, we're about to head out of here. Thanks for joining us today. We'll be back here tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., breaking down everything you guys need to know. We appreciate you all being here. Tomorrow morning, be back, 10 a.m. Macroeconomics. I know macro has nothing to do with crypto pumping, tracking the RMT, but it is a risk asset. And until then, we will handle it as such. We're about to head over and raid Randy Hipper, guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you guys tomorrow morning. Peace.
I don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling at the
can't handle the truth.
I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. Trade flag at the soul train ready. What a line from OCI, former Mexican spaghetti. Yo, crunch crypto with a deep dive to reject dime. And if you like the visual powered by Tar Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have step, fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after the wheels fall low.
Now pump those numbers up for the rookie numbers in this racket.
The ZTS rhythm.
Rip it. Alexandra. Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean? You can't handle the truth.
That was awesome, dude.